Hey guys, I'm Brittany, and this is Brit the Surrogate. In the last video, I talked about why I wanted to become a surrogate. In this video, I'm going to talk about my first journey. Now, it is a lot to get through, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm also not going to get into a whole lot of detail about the agency. I'm going to save that for another video because that's a lot to go through as well. So, as I said before, I first got in touch with the agency in March, and we decided that it was best that I wait to put my application in until I got back from my trip in December. So now it's December. I've contacted the agency. We've gone over signing the initial benefits package and everything that goes along with working with the agency. And then we go over my matching preferences. And eventually I am presented with a profile, and I got to read over it and felt okay with doing a match call. So we get on the match call. I absolutely adore them. I really liked everything that they had to say and learning about them. And after the match call, my coordinator messaged and said that they wanted to move forward and wanted to know if I wanted to move forward. And so I said yes. My medical records were sent to their clinic for pre-approval. And if everything looked good, then we would proceed to the next steps. They work with Spring Fertility in Oakland, California. And Spring is absolutely by far the best clinic I've worked with. Now, I've only worked with two, but they were on top of their game. They are very strict with their surrogates and approving surrogates to work with them. So I would absolutely recommend them to anyone, honestly. I really loved the atmosphere at Spring. I felt very well taken care of and very well informed. Um, so like I said, my medical records were sent there. Everything looked great. And so they scheduled my medical screening appointment. I took my sister with me. We had to fly to California. So surrogates typically travel to wherever the intended parent's clinic is to do their medical screening um, and the transfer. And so my IPs are from California. So I took my sister. It was her first time flying, so that was a really special experience for her and for me to be part of. And when we got there, we met up with the intended parents. So this was my very first time meeting them, and I was extremely nervous, as I always am meeting somebody new. Uh, but I was thankful that my sister was there to calm my nerves. And honestly, the intended parents were great. They were just normal people that were here to share a very special experience with me. So we met up with them. Now, the hotel that I was staying at was actually just a couple blocks from the clinic. So they wanted to make sure that I knew where to go. So we walked to where the clinic was. They showed me where it was, and we got some coffee and tea, and then we parted ways. And so my appointment was the next day. So we go to my appointment. I show up with a full bladder, expecting to have to take a urine sample. But the lady told me that she didn't believe I needed one, so that I could go ahead and use the restroom. So I take care of that. I get some blood drawn, all the regular vital signs that they've got to take. And then we do all the necessities at the medical screening. And so as we're leaving, the nurse said, "Oh, actually, we do need a urine sample. Do you think that you could use the restroom?" And I was like, "Oh, no." So she goes, "That's completely fine." They took me out to the waiting area. They have beverages there for surrogates. It's a really luxurious experience. Um, so I sat down and I had a few drinks, water, juice, things like that. Not alcohol. Didn't need my nerves calmed that much. until I felt like I could use the restroom. So finally, I feel like I can use the bathroom. So I let them know, we go back. I finished the testing that I needed to take. Um, but when we came back out, my intended father was out in the waiting room, and he said that the intended mother had an appointment, so he was just waiting on her. And it was a really special moment because we didn't expect to meet up again. I was going to be flying out that night. Um, so we got to spend a few extra moments with them, and talk some more. And it was really nice because I wasn't as nervous as I was when I initially met them. And so it was just really great. I felt like I got to be more myself and talk a little more and come out of my little bubble, little shell that I have. So that was really nice. So anyway, the medical screening appointment gets done. My sister and I had a lot of time before our flight flew out, so we explored the city and saw some things, and then we flew home. And unfortunately, after we got the results back from the medical screening appointment, we found out that my thyroid levels were off. And because the clinic is on top of everything, they did some additional testing to figure out why my thyroid levels were off. And I found out for the first time that I had Hashimoto's. So that is a thyroid autoimmune disorder. And I will explain more about that in a separate video. Um, but I had to get my levels under control before I could move on to surrogacy. Now, that does take a while. So it would take about 3 months before my levels were in a safe range to move forward with surrogacy. And I remember feeling so devastated and so scared that my intended parents would want to find another surrogate to work with, not want to wait that long on my levels to get down to a safe range for surrogacy. And not only was I devastated about that, I was nervous. I have never knew that I had a thyroid disorder, and I didn't know how to navigate that. So there was just a lot of new things all at once. And so I got in touch with my case coordinator, and I expressed my concerns about being worried that the intended parents might want to work with someone else. And luckily, they reached out to me and the intended mother, and she said, "We want to wait on you. Um, we're comfortable waiting on you. Just keep us updated." And, you know, it told me that how she was sorry that I was navigating this new autoimmune disorder. And so I was very thankful, to have her personally reach out to me. And it was just really lovely. Um, so, anyway, it's about 3 months, finally get my thyroid levels into a safe range, and we're able to move forward. They give me my medication calendar. And when you get your medication calendar, it also gives you a tentative transfer date. Now, it's tentative because it really just depends on how well your body reacts to the medication that they give you, because you are basically tricking your body into thinking that you are naturally pregnant. On the transfer date, it I actually had to ask them to just push it back a couple of days because my children's school was starting and I really didn't want to miss their first day. So they were happy to oblige. And the intended parents were completely fine with that as well. They didn't want me to miss my children's first day of school. So I start the medication. And first, I had to start out with birth control. Now, that is to trigger a woman's period, so that they can let you know when to start your next medication. So I do that. Everything goes according to plan. I reach back out to the clinic when my period starts, and they said basically, okay, start with your estrogen patches. And I also had to do Lupron, I believe, shots in the stomach. Those actually weren't bad. I was very nervous, and I did take videos. Here's the videos that I took, as you can see, of me injecting myself with the Lupron. It wasn't really as bad as I thought it was going to be. But then after so many days, then I had to start taking the progesterone shots, and that's more in the rear. And it was actually more painful. It created knots, and it just sometimes burned. It was more painful. But the intended mother, she was so sweet. She actually sent me like a massaging gun and a heating pad. And she said, basically, I know what you're going through. I want to make you as comfortable as possible. And so it was really sweet and it worked really well. And I was very thankful for that. So fast forward, I actually had to fly back over to California a week before the transfer date, just to make sure that my lining was thickening up the way that they wanted. So this time, my mother in law went with me. I don't like to travel alone on flights and things like that. So it was nice that I was able to bring a support person. So my mother in law was able to go with me, and we went. It was just a quick overnight trip. Um, my lining looked great, and so the transfer date was set. So we transferred the following week. My husband and I flew back out for the transfer. We met up with the intended parents. It was a great time. So, right before the transfer, the clinic actually asks you to take a Valium because they want you to be relaxed. And I was really thankful for that because I get nervous very easily. And the intended mother actually wanted to call me and pray over the phone for me and for the transfer. And I really appreciated that. I thought it was really sweet because it meant a lot to me. Even though I was nervous, I was very happy and honored to pray with her that everything worked out. So we did that. It was great. I appreciated it very much. And then we went to the transfer, and everything went well. And then we flew home. And they tell you not to do an at home pregnancy test. They really want you to wait on your betas because everybody's body shows up differently with your HCG levels. And so they really just want you to wait. I, however, did not. I took an at home pregnancy test, and it did show up positive. Now, I did not tell my intended parents. I really felt strongly to wait until the betas because I did not want to get their hopes up. Um, so we did the betas. It showed that I was positive as well. And so I asked my coordinator if I could tell the intended parents myself. I had a cute little video and some cute pictures I wanted to send them, as well as the beta results. So that way they could know that this was for real. Now, when it comes to intended parents and finding out that their surrogate is pregnant, um, some react very well and some are a little more reserved, and both are very appropriate responses. For intended parents that are a little more reserved, you have to remember that their journey, everything that's led up to this moment, could have been very rough. I know that for my intended mother, she had went through 3 failed transfers on her own before she had to come to terms with needing a surrogate. And not just transfers, surgeries. So I 100% understood why they were a little reserved, but they were also very excited. I mean, they congratulated me, they were happy for themselves, but it is so hard, for certain intended parents to be like, this is it, this is happening when they've went through so many trials to get to this point. So, yes, they were excited, but they were also a little reserved, and that is 100% okay, understandable, and I was just happy for them. At this point, even though I have a confirmed pregnancy, you still stay with the clinic. For most clinics, they vary a little bit, but for the clinic that I was with, I still had to stay with them until I was 10 weeks along before I got transferred to my primary care physician. So I had to continue with the progesterone shots. And about 2 weeks before I got transferred to my PCP, the shots started becoming very painful and nothing was really working. And I was just very uncomfortable. So I asked if I could go to the progesterone suppositories. The clinic was very fine with me doing the suppositories. And I had to go to a couple ultrasounds just to make sure that everything was looking okay. I did have a small SCH, which is common and not always anything to be alarmed about. But everything looked great. 10 weeks came. I graduated from the clinic, and they sent me to my PCP. So I see my PCP, which is, like I said, my primary care physician, up until I'm 9 months pregnant. And the reason that I choose her over my delivery doctor is just because it's easier and faster. It's closer to my home. Um, I don't have to worry about my OB not being there if there's a delivery and the appointment gets pushed back because he's attending that delivery. And so it's just quicker, and it was just what I had done with my own pregnancies, so that's what I went with. So anyway, the pregnancy itself was thankfully very uneventful. The baby was due in early May, and so in February, my intended parents came up for a quick visit. They weren't able to be here for the anatomy scan, and so we did, I believe it was a 4K, maybe a 5K ultrasound, um, just at this place that does specialized ultrasounds. Now, they do not give you any medical advice. They're not doctors. They're just specialized in ultrasounds. And so they do this fun little thing for people, and it's a very relaxed and really cool environment. So they got to come to that, and we went for some Starbucks afterwards. And we just got to share some special moments with each other. We had been out to dinners while they were here to visit. They came to our church. And it was just a quick, I believe, 1 week visit. It was really lovely. We got to see a lot of things and explore things with each other. So they flew back home. And then in April, I started just kind of contracting a little more than normal. I always feel some contractions, which I just chalk up to Braxton Hicks. Um, but they started getting just a little more frequent, not unbearable, but a little more frequent. So I went to the emergency room just to see if I was in labor. Now, the contractions, like I said, were not painful. And I really wanted to give my intended parents enough notice that they could fly from California to where I was so that they could be present for the delivery of their baby if that's what this was coming to. So they get me all checked in and hooked up to the monitors, and they can see that I am contracting. And I believe I was dilated at a 3, but I could be wrong. So the doctor on call asked me to walk around the hospital for an hour and make my way back just to see if I had dilated anymore. So we walk around for an hour, my husband and I, and we get back, we get hooked up to the machines again, and my contractions are still there, but I really didn't dilate all that much. And so basically, they said I was in early labor, but not active labor. So just to go home and wait it out. And if I started feeling like I was in active labor, to come back. Other than that, I was to just talk with my OB my following appointment because I was now seeing my OB. It was April. So I was seeing my delivery doctor every week. And so we called the intended parents and let them know everything that was going on. They asked if they needed to come right there. And we said, just wait until we talk to the delivery doctor, but to go ahead and get flights sorted out and everything. But we wanted to find out what my delivery doctor was going to say. So that next appointment, he basically said, I don't think that you're going to make it to your due date. I can't tell you that when you're going to go, but I don't think that you're going to make it to your due date. Now, the reason for this is because all of my pregnancies, once I started feeling contractions, I was basically delivering the baby 8 hours later. Now, that was active contractions, painful, taking my breath away, and this situation was not that. So, we get in touch with the IPs. We all feel that it's best that they just go ahead and come, just because none of us really thought, with me already kind of contracting and being in early labor, that I was going to make it to the due date. So they come down, um, and every week I'm still contracting. Every week, no labor has come. So we got to spend a lot of time together. And, I was just so thankful for that. And I think I can speak on their behalf as well. We got really close in the month that they came. It was about a month early that they came, and we spent every week together. We went to church every Sunday together. We were just able to grow this very special bond and create this wonderful friendship. And it really set the tone for my expectations on what I want out of a journey with other couples. Um, because I got that special relationship with them, and they're special people. They always will be special people to me and to my children and my family. Um, So yeah, we spent a lot of time together. And while I was thankful that I got that month with them, and I know that they enjoyed being able to grow closer with us as well, I know it was stressful on them being away from home, being away from their fur baby, and just trying to juggle work while they were here and everything. I'm sure that that was stressful, but I am still very thankful that we all got that time to grow in our relationship with each other. And honestly, just really open up for me. It's sometimes hard to do. So I was very thankful that I was able to open up with them and create something very special and unique. We actually decided at some point to schedule an induction for the day before my actual due date, just because it helped them with flights, um, and preparing to go back. They had to go through, I think, two different Airbnbs while they were here. So it just worked out better. It was just the day before my due date. So we scheduled the induction. And um, so the day comes for the induction. It's very early in the morning. We get there and everything is going great. They bring in um, a, a special coordinator from the hospital that just makes sure all the contracts are in place, kind of goes over what it's going to look like for the surrogates and for the intended parents while we're there. And we do find out that the birth order, there was an issue with it. So the birth order was completed for their state in California, but not for the state that I was delivering in. So it created an issue. Now, not a huge issue in the hospital's eyes. And so basically, um, the hospital specialist said that because the birth order was not done for the state that I was delivering in, that I would have to legally sign anything that the baby may need or that they may need signatures for until the situation was taken care of. So I felt really bad for my intended mother. I mean, I was just devastated for her because instead of enjoying the moment and the day that her child was supposed to be brought into this world, she had to spend it on the phone literally up until 5 minutes before I started pushing, trying to resolve this issue. And it did not get resolved until the next day. Thankfully, it was the next day, but I wanted her to enjoy this moment. I wanted her to be as close to this pregnancy and this process as possible, as if it was her journey that she was on herself. And so for her to have to deal with that instead of enjoying this moment, this very special, intimate moment, it was devastating. But it got resolved the next day. And luckily, the hospital staff was actually very amazing. They said that even though the situation was not resolved, they still understood that the intended parents were the rightful parents of the baby because legally, even though the baby is not genetically mine, DNA, all that, not genetically mine, because I delivered the baby is viewed as mine. Um, but the hospital was great. They allowed the intended parents to still take the baby into their own room. So they got their private room after the delivery. And it was right across from ours. So when you go up to the mother and baby unit after delivery, they got their room right across the hall from us. We got to visit and see each other, and it was all great. And the situation with the birth order did get resolved the very next day. So I was able to leave because I could not leave until that got resolved, just in case I had to sign anything related to the baby. So that all got resolved. They went back to their Airbnb. We went home, but we did get to visit for, I think they stayed a week, maybe 2 weeks um, after. But we got to take the kids to visit the baby and visit some more before they left. And then it was time for them to go home. And the intended mother, she asked me if I wanted to walk the baby back to the car to say my goodbyes. And while it's emotional, and thinking about it is emotional, I'm not sad that the baby left. I'm not sad because I felt like a part of me was leaving. It's not anything like that. And until you're a surrogate, you just can't possibly understand. I was sad and I was emotional because I was saying goodbye to them as a family. When you are a surrogate for someone, even though that time frame seems so little compared to other lifelong friendships that I have, it is a bond that you share with someone that sets apart a special relationship from all the other relationships that you will ever have with anyone else, aside from whoever you have children with, because I had their child. I carried their child. I delivered their child. And that is the same for both of us. It is special for me because I am connected to them in that way. And it is special to them because they are connected to me in that way. And it is just so unique and so emotional and intimate. And that is not like any other relationship with normal friends that you have. So I had this special bond with them, and I'm basically telling people that I feel so deeply connected to, I'm saying goodbye to them. And so it's very emotional and sad, and all of the emotions. I'm so happy for them. I'm excited that they're going home and they're introducing their baby to their friends and their family. And I'm sad because my children are sad, and my husband doesn't really get emotional, but it's just, it's sad to say goodbye to somebody that you have this connection with. But they go home, and we still talk. I was just actually talking with her yesterday, and honestly, I was so thankful to just experience my very first surrogacy with them. I would have never imagined it going any better than what it did because of them. And I honestly did not think that I would do another surrogacy journey unless they wanted another child. And in that case, we would just do an independent journey with one another. So when I did decide to do a second journey, I made sure that I talked with my intended parents first just to see, number one, were they okay with it? Number two, did they know if they wanted another child or not? And so I was so nervous to ask them. Like, it took a long time for me to work up the courage to talk to them. And my intended mom, she just said, Brittany, that's why we fell in love with you, because you are such a caring and giving person and so willing to help other people. Of course, we want you to help someone else. If they want a referral, let me know and I will let them know exactly how we felt about working with you. And they still were undecided on a second child, but they were very happy for me to help another family. And that meant the world to me. Like they're they're just people, you know? They seem so normal, and they are normal. But to me, when I meet new people, I'm nervous and I don't know what to expect. And they're normal. Now, another unique experience with this was that they are from a different cultural background. So we got to learn about their culture, um, and I got to learn new things, even though my husband knows a lot. I got to learn new things and experience new things. And so it was really a great experience. And on top of that, they are around our age as well. So that also just made them feel more normal to me. And it really just it set the tone for my next journey. Like I said, on who I want to work with and everything like that. But also because I was able to navigate all the firsts with amazing people who made it easy to navigate those firsts. And um, I was not as nervous with my next set of IPs. But that journey will be in another video, and you can catch it next time. Okay, bye.